Hello and welcome to our last recap show from CES 2013. I'm Norm from Tesla.com, and it's been a long week. I think the motto of the show is, today's been a long week. Yesterday was a long week, today also a long week. We've been at CES 2013 for a couple days now, and we got back and we decided to relax a little bit. How do you end CES? How do you end a week full of technology and walking and craziness? I think this is how you end. Enjoy this little clip.
Alright. I was really confused. This voiceover.
Remember doing these parts?
Recording? Yeah. Hey, we're done with CES, so we're using our time off to go ice skating in Las Vegas. Ice skating in the desert?
It's a miracle!
It's a Christmas, New Year's miracle.
It's a New Year's miracle.
It's because Patrick Norton. Whoa! Don't fall, Joey.
It's a CES miracle. That's what it is.
CES miracle.
Yes. All
Best
of
technology in CES, ice skates in the desert.
There you go. I want to see the high-tech Zamboni.
Yeah, this is a really small ice skating rink. How do they Zamboni it?
We're going to lose.
I'm trying to get good.
Thank God he's the most proficient of all of us.
You can skate backwards. How are you doing this?
I don't know.
Another CES miracle. I'm going to bite it on television. I know it. Internet television.
They're much better than us.
Yes. We've been out here for like an hour.
There we go. Good, good.
This is the greatest video of all time.
Alright.
When's the last time you went ice skating, Veronica? See the interview right here on the rink.
The last time I went ice skating, I was probably about...
Well, I guess that's how you end CES. That's one way to do it. We had a little time to spare because we're waiting for all of our guests to arrive today, and that's a great time to introduce them. We have Patrick Norton and Veronica Belmont, great friends from Tekzilla. Oh my goodness, and Revision 3. How are you guys doing?
Good. Man, there's just no way to look cool while ice skating unless you're like a professional ice skater.
No, we were talking about this earlier. Like, the 20% of your brain that you use to look cool is used to stay balanced and not look like an idiot. Unless you're Canadian, then it's in your
That's the
blood.
trick. That's the
Yeah.
trick.
We can't wait. We're going to go back on the ice later with our Canadian and watch him twirl.
Watch our Canadian twirl on Tested.
That's the,
Is that legal in this state? Actually, it's not.
and anything.
Everything's
Everything's
Everything goes.
legal
Everything
in
goes.
Vegas.
And there's no personal income tax.
Stop giving me ideas. So you guys have been here the whole week. Some of you, and I want to talk about CES, what you guys have seen, and let's go backwards. So what did you guys do today?
Pat?
I had a festival of headphones. So like Tekzilla did, I think we did 35 or 40 segments. We started putting stuff in the can to use for
40 segments?
Over the course of the week, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Yeah.
today?
I think the most we've done in one day is 15 or 20.
Wow.
I did 8 on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're around that,
Yeah.
that pace. At that point, the producers get really not unhappy with us.
You just see like the little wheels turning in the editors' heads, like, I'm never leaving this place.
I'm going
This
to
is my
die
home
here.
now.
Well, first of all, wasn't that amazing? Joey ice skating backwards
I know.
with my
Well
iPhone,
done.
ice skating backwards.
He
That
almost
was
ate it a couple times,
Almost.
but he was going backwards,
Yeah.
to be fair. Yeah.
Incredible. All right, so Patrick, headphones? What's
Yeah. So there's it's kind of okay. One of the big trends at CES this year: crappy headphones endorsed by celebrities.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Sony's headphone. It's Simon Cowell says, hands down, the best headphones ever.
Yeah, but the thing is, those are actually decent headphones.
I did not get a chance to listen to those. The Sony booth was so unbelievably packed, I did not even venture to go near it. So, but I listened to Sennheiser's Biodynamics, House of Marley, because I was curious. I actually ran into somebody who's a fan of the show down there. And it's been fun to actually listen to a bunch of stuff from different vendors. I also got a chance to listen to Sennheiser's Orpheus, which is their
Is that the one they show inside the booth?
Yes.
The last booth?
Yes.
Well, they actually last year, and you need special equipment not only for the headphones, but to play special music tracks. It's all.
No, you don't need special music tracks. They're just trying to display the Orpheus with the most exquisitely recorded audio available on 180 gram audiophile vinyl to allow you the full range of harmonic reproductions. I mean, it's like I mean, you know, if you want to see something really funny, find Lloyd Case and ask him about tube amplification and audiophiles, and he'll just be like, you know,
Is Lloyd a big audio guy?
he's not a big audio guy, but he's a big believer that tubes are bull stuff.
Oh, okay.
Lloyd would never. I don't think Lloyd curses, so I won't put a curse in his mouth. But it's really funny. But the Orpheus is like this. It's one of those holy grails of audiophile. You know, it's just, you know, these beautiful giant headphones, and they come with this gigantic ribbon cable that goes to this huge, like, you know, umpteen tube headphone amplifier that weighs like 30 pounds, and invariably, you know, it's connected to a 75-pound, $7,000 audiophile grade turntable with a head. The turntable, much less the, you know, the freaking needle, is worth more than my car, and I'm like, you know, and I've just heard the i8-800s, which sound fantastic, beautiful set of earbuds. They've got a new set of $350 headphones that I can't remember the name of that really sound exquisite. I should look it up because the soundstage in those is amazing. But, you know, every so often I like to listen to a $25,000 something and realize...
Every so often.
Every so often.
Year. Yeah.
Once a year. Well, actually, it's been a few years since I've gotten to go look at the audiophile booths. But, the Momentum, $349 Momentum. Fantastic sound, beautiful soundstage, beautiful, rich, crisp lows and highs, punchy, almost perfect. For $349, fantastic. You know, and I'm like the i800s, which are like, I want to say $1,000, biscuit under $1,000. Really, 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 really beautiful sound. And I'm like, $25,000. No, these are, you know, they sold for like $9,000 in 1992, and they sell for like $25,000 if you ever see them on eBay. And I'm like, punk. That's nice. But I ain't hearing the other $24,000. Yes!
You made the right decisions in life. You didn't make poor choices.
It makes me so happy.
What songs were they playing?
It was like, it's unfortunate because like I'm always like, can I plug your headphone display into my iPhone so I can hear lossless tracks?
Oh, that DAC?
They're usually pretty good about it. Like, you know, the Biodynamics guys let me do it. The Sennheiser guys let me do it. They're usually pretty chill about it. But it was so funny. But with the Orpheus, it's not like even I don't carry, you know, vinyl at CES, because, you know, I mean, that would be really awesome to do next year. Could you put this on, please, just to watch the guy's eyeballs explode out of his face?
But it was surprise the PR guy.
It was, you know, it was one of those things like you buy in the back of Stereophile magazine, where it's, you know, it's like, you know, some incredible, you know, it was funny because I spent the time listening to it, and maybe this is, you know, how critical and amazing the Orpheus is that I spent the entire time not even considering the fact that there was something blanketing my ears with velvety sound, but I was thinking like, wow, I really want to know what microphones they were using, what room they were in, which for me is like the big, like when you go from like $100 set of headphones to a $350 set of headphones, you're going from like, I'm hearing music to, wow, I'm hearing all the detail, the echo, the reverb, the decisions that were made. There's a sound stage, I can place instruments. It's all this layers of just richness come out.
It's from beginning to end, from instrument, that whole workflow. You want to know what that is.
Yeah, well, especially like, you know, like listening to like some Motown stuff, and you can actually kind of feel the sense of the room that was picked up in the microphones, and a lot of modern stuff. This fantastic recording of cymbals, and it's like being next to a ride cymbal at a live show, and it's freaking amazing. You know, so I was thinking about all that stuff rather than like the fact that, you know, I got a $25,000 set of headphones. So maybe they're just that perfect. But it was some like, you know, insert name of audiophile collection record. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, we took 72-year-old microphones blessed by Edison and Tesla, you know, licked by the ghost of Duke Ellington, and recorded them into a 72-year-old schoolhouse auditorium designed by like insert name of someone who designed perfect acoustic structures. It was one of those things. It was like, you know, it was music. There was life and fidelity to it, but I have no idea who it was.
So you tried some headphones.
I tried some headphones.
That sounds like
that was way too much. I'm so sorry.
You know, we probably do it.
Hey guys,
multiple hours.
Well, I should point out
on headphones and audio. It's awesome.
But there's so, I mean, partially also because there's like, and I think you'll agree, there's so many bad headphones at CES.
There are a lot of bad headphones and
or
a lot
bad
of bad
headphones,
headphones.
branded headphones, and everyone knows about. I don't want to call it specific names.
Like Monster.
Yeah, exercise in marketing. But yeah, celebrity endorsed headphones, and how really involved are they?
I don't understand that. Well, I guess I understand the phenomena, but it just makes me kind of sad. Like, I went to the Monster press conference, and you've probably talked a lot about this. And it was like, let's just parade a ton of celebrities out here. The headphones, they're fine. I mean, the previous models, like the Beats by Dre that they were partnered with, actually sounded pretty good. But now they're just getting into this wacky design. Like, they're doing stuff with diesel, and they're doing stuff with Toomey luggage, and they're doing stuff with What's the other company? I can't remember. But they're all just like, they look crazy.
Jimmy Choo?
No, not quite yet. Maybe sometime. But they're just not my style. I mean, I guess I can't really rag on them too much because
I guess they might be someone's style.
there could be someone's style. I mean, they're really trying to market to different segments of the population, like the fashionista, the sports fan.
Right.
They're coming out with a new gaming headset, which I'm actually kind of curious to listen to
But
and see how
does
it
that
sounds.
really work for you and me when we're supposed to be in that room writing about that? Like, why parade those people in front of us?
I don't know who they're trying to. Yeah, they're not going to impress us with that.
Well, it's not like it's a live stream press conference.
But there's also like regional news there. There's all of these
Suckers.
That's a really nice way of saying it. But there's a lot of people out there who like I can totally hear the producer's voice going, "We've got to get the video of what was one of the celebrities I don't know."
Exhibit.
Nick
Cannon was there.
We gotta
Sheila
see
E.
now
was
with
there.
Exhibit, isn't there like an opportunity to really embrace the internet there and get something viral going on?
Probably.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they didn't even announce a tie-in with him. He was just there. So I'm not really sure why he was there. And then another guy came up to us earlier when we were walking around in the South Hall, and he just said the name of a celebrity, like, hey, we've got so-and-so, but he didn't even say what kind of product he had or what he was showing off. We're like,
Right.
oh, okay, cool.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it's kind of come to that. I mean, maybe we're just jaded and being bratty.
but that's
about
also
it.
been going on for a
The
while.
whole theme of this week is we've had people on this entire week, and everyone has kind of been down on this year's CES. Maybe a little jaded, a little cynical. I don't want this to be a cynical show. We can be critical.
I want to be
Okay.
excited by technology. I want to be.
Let's be excited. Let's just talk about the things that we were actually excited about.
I will say that for the first time in my entire career, I have regretted not being at the opening keynote at
Yeah,
CES.
Qualcomm.
Oh,
What?
yeah.
I missed it too.
Just the spectacle.
I just
Yeah.
like because it's I've never actually what I mean outside of I want to say maybe the introduction of the Xbox. I don't think there's ever been anything useful at that opening keynote, and I missed like Big Bird and Mayhem and just like looking
Guillermo
at
del Toro.
yeah.
Apparently that movie scene was like super
Violent?
intense and violent and bloody.
Oh my
And I was like,
goodness.
I'm really glad I wasn't there because I don't do well with that kind of stuff.
That's weird.
Yeah, but I didn't have such an exciting day as Patrick.
Yeah, what did you do today?
I ate a lonely cheeseburger in the mall, but I saw Dennis Rodman.
Now, okay, I gotta explain this. You had a day
Okay.
off.
I had a day off today.
Yeah.
Today was my day off. So I've been here since Sunday, and it was like, I was like, oh, I have a day free. I'm going home on Friday after our meetup tonight. And what am I going to do? I'm like, well, I'm not a gambler. Like, no one else is really around. I guess I'll go shopping.
Yeah.
Why not? I'll just walk around the mall, see what's there.
Which one did you go to?
Miracle Mile.
Oh,
So not only did you have a
Interesting.
sad, lonely cheeseburger, you had a sad, lonely cheeseburger in the saddest mall.
I didn't know it
On
was
the
a sad
strip.
mall. I thought it was just, it looked nice. And so I went in, and it was a sad, sad mall.
there's a couple really good malls for shopping here. You should have called me.
I didn't know. I
would've-
didn't know you were that guy that knew that.
I'm the guy. I know where
I guess
everything
I
is
should
in
just assume
Vegas.
that you're the guy that knows all the stuff by this point in our
After
lives.
36 hotels and,
Yeah.
and like 300 nights of my life in Las Vegas.
So I'm
yes.
sitting there drinking a coffee, actually. This was right before the cheeseburger.
And you're just looking for internet and power outlet.
I was looking for internet.
A clean,
I did not
well-lighted
find
internet.
Oh, no.
The coffee bean lied to me. They said they had internet, but it needed a password, and I wasn't going back in there. And so I was sitting there drinking a coffee, and all of a sudden I see this. He was a very tall gentleman, not crazy tall, and he was with some other people, and he had a bear hat on. Like a bear hat?
Like he
and
skinned a
lip
bear
ring.
and-
No, like a cute bear, like kind of like
Okay.
an Adventure Time hat, but like bear ears
Okay.
instead. And like so many scarves. There were
Layers.
just so many scarves. And I was like, that's that basketball player. And so I text message my husband and I'm
Sports
like,
ball.
what's the basketball player with the crazy clothes? He writes back to me, Dennis Rodman? And I was like, yes, I just saw Dennis Rodman. And then I actually looked on Twitter a couple hours later, and someone else at the mall had gotten their picture taken with him. And I was like, confirmation that I saw
2 sightings. That's
two
all you
sightings,
need.
at least two.
2 reports.
Photographic evidence.
Yeah.
That at least he responded to the name Dennis Rodman to someone on
Yeah.
Twitter. So that was funny. And then I was having my cheeseburger, and all of a sudden Miss America walked by.
Because the
In her
Miracle
sash
Mile,
and
Miss
crown.
Miss America.
I was like, well, that makes me feel a little bit worse about eating this cheeseburger, but just a little bit.
Yeah. In good company.
Yeah, so that was my day. I didn't get to see $25,000 headphones, but I
No.
did get to see Dennis Rodman and Miss America.
We're glad we rescued you from that. and got you on the show and went for some ice skating.
We had some wonderful
secret
ice skating.
pizza.
It was very fun.
And secret pizza, which we talked about. Cannot recommend it. It's decent pizza.
It's pretty good pizza.
Yeah.
Wait, you don't recommend
Oh,
it?
no, I can't recommend it enough.
Oh, enough.
Yeah,
Okay.
And we've talked about it plenty of times.
I don't recommend it, but I will feed it to
Yeah.
Patrick
Yes,
Norton
I
before a
will give it to
podcast.
Patrick.
Oh, of course. Anything. Patrick, you talked about you've spent so many days here at CES. You guys are all veterans of CES. And Veronica, I know you said you've only been here for 7 years only.
This is
That
year
counts as a
7.
veteran. You got to talk about the hotel experiences.
I've had
'Cause
all the hotel experiences.
I want to hear about them.
Well, first of all, have you guys taken a shot looking away
We
from
haven't
the
yet,
couch?
and because we don't let everyone know where we are. We're at the Cosmo. It's the last day. It's okay. We're at the Cosmo. This is our set. We're in a nice suite.
No. I walk into this room and all I could think is like, damn, Testa dropped some coin on CES.
Nice
Because I'm
room.
looking out and I'm feeling like all of a sudden like I'm George Clooney. Not that anyone would ever mistake, but I'm like I need to get a
felt it.
suit. I need to walk towards that window. I need to admire the freaking water sculpture at the Bellagio, and because I've stayed at like 2 nice hotels in Vegas, one of which would be the Wynn right after it opened. And there's a radically different Las Vegas experience when you're staying at I have a giant wall of windows overlooking the Strip and I can see the blinking lights and holy crap, I'm gonna have to close the curtains or I won't be able to see. But it's an amazing view and there's sumptuous 7,000 thread count sheets and everything's amazing and there's an HDTV and I still don't have an HDTV at home. And then there's I will not reveal the name of the hotel we are located at lest people visit, but we stay at a hotel that is very inexpensive and convenient, and that is as close to the description I will get it.
All right.
We call it the Murder Hotel.
No, it's not the Murder Hotel.
You call it
No. Okay, best Vegas hotel. This will make our hotel seem so awesome. So one year at Tech TV, they were waffling about whether or not how many people they're going to send, whether they're going to send them. So finally, they pull the ripcord at freaking first week of December. Imagine, to put this into context, this would be trying to find, plane tickets to the town the Super Bowl is in, the freaking week before the Super Bowl. Bad.
More
really
people
bad.
here.
More people here.
For the Super Bowl, probably 150,000 people.
Oh, wow.
So we end up staying at a place that I affectionately think of as the Blair Witch House Inn. I believe it was the Blair House Inn. And we get in there and we and I've stayed in a lot of nice hotels and I've stayed in a lot of unfortunate hotels.
You've seen things.
Well, you're traveling in Baja, you get a hotel, you get what you get. Tonopah, Nevada, it's the Clown Motel if everybody else is out of rooms. And let me tell you something, nice people at the Clown Motel, scary sign out front, but I'm still here. And so we get into the Blair Witch House and 2 of the people who were working with us basically went to our boss at the time, Jim, and said no. And to put it into context, I walked in and I'm like, wow, and I got my little brick of Diet Coke and it's going into the fridge, and I start counting cigarette burns. I got up to 435 when I finally quit, and I hadn't gotten out of the living room and kitchen. But literally, there was hundreds on the Formica in the kitchenette, and literally on the top of the refrigerator and the table.
Was that part of the aesthetic?
It was a part of the aesthetic. Let me tell you something.
gross.
This was Whiskey Tango with freaking legs, and at some point you get but the thing is, you're really not seeing your hotel room when you're here at CES. And it's not because you're partying your ass off. It's because you're doing 12-hour days because you start with a morning meeting and you end with one of these parties where you go see 200 PR people and try to find 3 products to write about. And then it's an hour to get back to your hotel. And then if you're smart, you shower before you pass out with the reek of Las Vegas. And I'm not dissing Las Vegas because I love this town and I like staying here. But if you have to walk through a casino, you end up smelling like a casino, which is not fun, especially if you're dealing with it is what it is. And you pass out, you wake up, you do another 12, 15-hour day again. So I'm at the Blair Witch House Inn, and I got a 7 a.m. call. It's the 4th or 5th day we're in town, and I'm like, delete expletive. I'm going to walk to the LVCC, and I walk out front. And so, these were little kitchenettes, economy suites, whatever you want to call them. So they all had a stove, an oven, a sink, a yada, yada, yada. And I walked downstairs, and there, I swear, 7 or 9 police vehicles out front. Las Vegas Police Department, Clark County Sheriff's Department, state police, unmarked black vehicle, and a lieutenant's car, and 8 of the 9 vehicles or 6 of the 7 vehicles are canine units. Oh. And I'm just prisoner escape? Some kind of a major felony warrant thing going on here? And I ducked open and I looked at the night manager who was just about to end his shift, and I was like,
Go back in.
I was like, somebody get murdered? And he's like, oh, no, we got a problem with the economy suites, with the kitchen. The crankster gangsters like to make the meth.
Oh, no.
So what we do is we let LE, the law enforcement, train here once a month. None of the crankster gangsters want to stay here. And I was like, all right. So if you want to know a safe, inexpensive hotel to stay at, look for the one that does the law enforcement training access.
You got to think Vegas, LE. Don't take no guff from anyone.
Don't.
You've seen CSI. Yeah.
I've never seen CSI in Vegas, but I will never screw with anybody in law enforcement in Las Vegas.
I got a scam call last night.
Yeah,
in my
you had an
hotel.
interesting experience.
Yeah, I got back to the room and the phone rang, which never happens, and I answered.
Why did you answer?
Well, because I thought it was maybe someone like Roger or Pat calling me
from
to
room
like,
to room.
from room to room.
Are you ready?
Exactly. I mean, we use GroupMe to stay in touch, so
Exactly,
usually
yeah.
that's just how we would do it. But maybe my phone wasn't working or something.
Right.
Who knows?
Okay.
And so I answer, and they're like, "Hello, this is the front desk, and we have had a computer error with our network, and we have lost all the information, all the names, and card numbers of everyone at the hotel. We're really sorry for this inconvenience. We're prepared to offer you 30% off your night for this. So would you please, help us out by giving us your info?" And I was like, yeah, so I didn't pay for the room. It's on we've got a block of rooms for the company. I don't have that card info. And I was already like kind of sketched out. And he's like, oh, well, we don't have anything. I'm so sorry. Like, you must have given a card for incidentals. Can we take that? And then you can straighten it out at the front desk later. And I was like, yeah, I'm not giving you my card info over the phone.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, you could come to the front desk, but the line is really long right now.
Oh.
Because people are checking in.
Social engineering.
So many people have called down. Like, we've called so many people, like they're all up here giving
I
their
hate
info.
lines. No. Take my credit card.
And
Please.
at that point, I was actually like, oh, we're going to dinner in 10 minutes. Like, that's going to be a pain. But I was like, this is a bad idea. I was like, it's all right. I'll go to the front desk. And I went to the front desk, and they were like, yeah, we don't know anything
No
about
line
that.
whatsoever?
No, there was nobody there. Wow. And I was like, wow, that was... they could have gotten a lot of people like doing that. Like,
And they
this
had your
one's made
room
me so
number.
paranoid over the years. He's got my tinfoil hat on for everything anyway. But that was the only bit of information they had was my room number. They didn't have my name. They didn't have any info.
And that's how they got the phone number.
Yeah,
was with
exactly.
the room number.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Probably
terrible.
somebody staying in the hotel just direct dialing all the rooms.
wanna
Oh,
see
I
that
didn't even think
playbook.
about that.
The playbook's got to be interesting.
How did they know I was in the room? Did they just call all the rooms?
They
or
probably
did
just
know
randomly
that I
keep
was
calling
there?
her.
Oh,
That's what Roger said
This
today.
is great, like some movie
Creepy.
script
Get
storyline.
you
Yeah.
some bear spray.
The calls coming
Yeah.
from in the hotel.
Why don't you
Vegas.
come over and I'll give you my credit card and you can take it with you? And then,
Someone on Twitter said the only place I would probably work less would be during DEF CON.
Yeah.
no, DEF CON would be.
You're talking.
Would be so
but now
awesome.
wait, I have your credit card number.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Oh, how'd that happen?
How'd that
Turnabout is fair play.
Wait,
That'd be amazing, actually.
that'd be the ultimate panel at DEF CON. Speaking of tinfoil hats, I got to wear to make our editor happy. I wore the Neko Mimi cat.
I thought we weren't
EEG
allowed to
cat
do that
ears.
because Shannon did them already. I would have done them. Oh, man.
I didn't-
wanted to wear the cat
You guys get to have the
ears.
fun toys.
I wanted the cat ears that read your brain waves.
You want to talk about
We're not
HEVC?
gonna-
Do you want to talk
We're all
about
about
HEVC
serious-
compression and enabling the distribution of 4K technology? You want to talk about the
love
lack of
to.
content agreement? You want to talk about sharpness? I'll get all serious.
Let's get through the weird stuff first,
Okay.
and then we'll get real serious. Because the weird stuff's the fun
Because
stuff.
Tested is a
Happy
very
Fork?
serious place.
Oh, okay. Can we, we've talked about the Happy Fork earlier.
Okay,
And
no
it
more
is
Happy
the thing
Fork.
of the show. The symbolic, how to explain this convention to the normal folk watching your CNNs, your Fox Newses.
Yeah.
And the Happy Fork embodies CES. It is technology and something you understand, and brightly colored, and it's fitness
It
related.
looks like a giant, Fisher-Price fork
Yeah.
with a battery in it.
And then they have this great story.
Yeah.
Like, here's our first gen product.
Oh, don't talk about the spoon. Don't talk about the prototype spoon. No, it's under wraps.
Rumor mongering. Let's leave that at a bar.
There's a spoon.
I'm gonna leave the spoon at the bar and the drink.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
leak that out.
Call Gizmodo.
So somebody from Gizmodo can pick it up.
Where's Blam? No, he's not with Gizmodo anymore. I
No,
forget.
he bailed on our
Back in
show
the old days.
yesterday.
Did he?
Yeah, he was too busy.
Blam!
Too busy.
I didn't realize he was in town.
He is. No, he's a mystery. I decided he's not actually here. He said he was here, but I've come to the conclusion that he's actually in
He's
Hawaii
actually
right now.
surfing in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Got a waterproof
that's how he
case on his
operates
phone.
these days.
So what other weird stuff have you guys seen from CES?
I saw a personal sauna. That was pretty fun.
What, like a tube that's a sauna?
No, you're like in a little, so you kind of look like Christopher Pike from Star Trek. It looks like you're in like a little encased wheelchair unit, and you just sit.
For the kids, this is original Star Trek.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
Not
like-
09 Star Trek.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it's not Voyager or Enterprise or any of the new stuff.
Yeah.
I lose track. So you sit, and it's like up to your chest, and it's a sauna, and it's supposed to help with all
Oh, the
sorts of
fiberglass
aches and-
box?
No, it's not fiberglass.
They,
It's made
they
of,
have
of
those at
redwood.
spas. It's like a real
Yeah.
technology, and it's like in James Bond movies, you lock the sauna.
There you
The
go.
guy's in there, and then he's like crying for
going to
help.
die.
First, your hemorrhoids feel better, and then you die.
I'm sorry. Go back to the hemorrhoids.
That was the thing. The
I
guy
think
would,
you just described
the guy
life.
at the booth would
Life
not
in a
stop talking about
nutshell.
how it would make your hemorrhoids feel better. And I was like,
First, your hemorrhoids feel better, then
stop
you die.
talking about this.
The
Is not
story
good
of
PR.
life.
Stop talking about hemorrhoids.
Did he mention the AARP discount or the AAA discount at that
No,
point?
but he said he would give us a good deal. I was like, I don't need the hemorrhoid sauna, thanks. But it was pretty cool. I mean, they also had one that was like a regular size sauna that you sit in, and it has mood
Now,
lighting.
okay, when you say pretty cool,
Mood lighting.
it was pretty novel.
It made me happy because I was tired
Okay.
and I wanted to sit in
Did
something.
you sit in something? So basically, it was on. You got to sit in a hot sauna.
I got to sit in a hot sauna for a while. Yeah, it's dry heat, so you don't get all sweaty and gross for a while.
I was once.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make that joke.
What was something weird you saw?
Well, I was going to tell you about the ears, but then you said this is a serious show.
Oh, the WinBot, the window cleaning Roomba-like device.
Okay.
That was pretty neat. Did you see that? It was.
Sorry, does it cling to the window and like lick it clean?
Basically. Yes. It's by a company called Ecovacs.
How does
and
it traverse multiple
suction?
panes?
Suction. So it's like a little tank, and each of the little tank segments has suction on it. So as it drives, it just continuously suctions on the window, and it cleans it, and it works exactly like a Roomba.
But there are, windows have frames.
Yes, so
So
it
if it-
senses when it hits the edge
And then
of
it
the frame.
tries to climb over that?
No, it just stays on one side.
Oh, so you're only going to clean one window? Like, my windows aren't
Well,
that big.
if you had big windows, it'd be better for big windows. If like places
It's not
you
gonna.
couldn't
I'm thinking
reach.
like a skyscraper, right? And you have the robot's
like a
gonna pick the
skyscraper.
robot up.
there
and
it
put
is.
Next one.
Yeah, you'd have to do it on each one.
Yeah.
In that
No,
situation.
no.
Yeah.
First gen technology.
This is to save you time, Norm. To save you time.
You can put it on
First,
your
you go to
skylight.
the closet. Then you make sure the battery's charged on the robot.
Nope, no
then
batteries.
you fill the
No.
robot. Then
It's
you put the robot
no
on the
batteries.
window. Then it cleans the window about an hour later. Then you
Need to buy
take it off that
extension
window
cables.
and you put it on the next
Extension
window.
cables.
And then
It's
the
not battery
battery runs out. There's no
It's
battery.
not battery operated.
What's it run on?
It's connected.
It's wired.
It's wired.
You plug it into the wall?
Yes.
So you plug it into the wall, you stick it. They lost me.
You
at
have,
best
to
fire.
part
buy,
is-
you have to buy extra extension cables if your windows are very high.
Okay. I guess if your windows are
that's
high,
bad.
you can afford that.
Yeah.
Or you can,
Yeah.
But that defeats the purpose of pointless technology.
Yeah, there's moments that, not to bring down the podcast, man, but there's moments. I'm sure you've had these moments where you're just like looking at this and thinking like, landfill material, landfill material, landfill material, landfill
Recycling.
material.
I would. That's my issue. No. That's part of my
Arduinos
issue.
in there. Ooh,
Stop.
motors.
Part of this is like reusability, maybe, but there's a lot of stuff you're looking at where it's just like literally it cannot be recycled, it cannot be reused. It is going to a landfill. Like unless somebody gets creative and starts building like shelters out of old cell phone covers, or like you know what I mean. Like you could do an incredible.
I thought you meant like a shelter for like abandoned technology. Like it goes there to be adopted.
Wasn't there a movie called AI about communities of technology, like
Like the
assembly?
little wind robot sitting there in the cage, like with sad puppy eyes, being like, "Please take me home. I'm so lonely. Won't somebody love me?
But I have no battery.
Don't you have super long extension cables at home that I can love?
I'll lick your windows clean.
I'll lick your windows clean." Yep.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like when you're looking at it, and it's just like where it's suddenly like, wow, like I wish more of these materials were recyclable or reusable. And like on one hand, yes, I agree. If it's got motors in it and gears in it, take them apart, figure out a way to reuse them. But at some point, asking the entire United States to get their maker on and reuse everything so it doesn't go into the garbage bin would be awesome. But I don't know how practical that is. You know what I mean? It's just, but there's
Unless the MP wave hits, then we got to do it.
yeah. Well, the MP wave hits. My ass is heading to the secret location in the desert. Yeah, the EMP waves hits. We got bigger problems with that. Like the entire population starving because our GPS guided tractors can no longer. So, Ms. Belmont,
wonderful.
Tell us about another weird product you saw at CES.
Let's see. What else did I see? That's hard. I rode the Mondo Spider, which I know you did as well.
I too rode the Mondo Spider, and
did you? Because it kind of looked like you were just parked out front.
Oh my goodness!
Oh!
Do you have video?
We do have video.
All right.
We do have video. I would get in the Mondo Spider and not drive the Mondo Spider.
I don't know.
To be fair, we have a small crew, and Joey was shooting video. He couldn't take the picture and shoot the video
Gotcha.
while I was driving. So after I parked it, and I backed it up and parked it, we took the photo.
Did you make the backup
afterward.
beeping? Because I did.
Did
you go beep, beep,
What
beep?
you child?
No, I didn't want to crush anyone to death.
It was wonderful.
It was really fun.
So fun.
I mean, what does it say that the two things that are most talked about at this show were a fork and a robotic spider?
Well, there's a lot of
get behind
4K.
Not
that.
actually for sale.
I can mind that.
4K technology.
4K, the 4K OLED from Sony was really nice. A lot of the Ultra HD TVs looked fantastic.
Sharp didn't have their 8K TV this year, did they?
I did not see it,
No,
but
yeah. Last year that was
I didn't make it to their
amazing.
booth, actually.
LG's OLED 55-inch OLED HDTV, which apparently is on pre-order right now in Korea, is utterly gorgeous. The colors are so saturated. It looks so beautiful.
I was talking to Robert Heron about the 4K OLED, and we were trying to figure out like how much that thing would cost, and he was like $30,000.
Well,
like,
if their regular 84-inch 4K TV is $25,000.
Oh, then it's probably more like
then
40,000.
it's more, and
yeah,
this prototype
more.
OLED. I mean, do you remember when
50,000?
Sony did the first OLEDs and they had them in Sony stores and they were so small.
Like the 11-inch.
11-inch.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they had that real
$4,000.
big base, and that was ridiculously expensive. Like they really used that as in their presentation as an example. We did this as an innovator, and now we have this.
Yeah.
So that's the model you want to do because no one bought that.
Yeah.
well, I think that was just sort of demonstrating they could actually make an OLED TV.
Yeah, but who would want an 11-inch TV
But
anyway?
who has OLED TVs now?
Well, no one, because nobody's making them in volume.
No one's
and
making volume.
this could be the year of OLED, OL.
How about have the year of
OLED.
4K TVs first? 4K content, 4K cameras first.
Yeah.
Maybe NAB will have something. And
That
Well,
was
Sony announced their 4K consumer level cameras.
okay. Yeah, sorry, I thought you were going to say the 4K content that's coming with the $20,000 TV.
oh, let's talk about the 4K content.
They
'cause
did say
all
that too.
4 titles.
No, 10 movies.
Oh, excuse
it's
me.
10 movies, 4 of them they called out. And you know it's if it's Sony movies that you think the hype. So Amazing Spider-Man's got to be one of them. And then they also include like Karate Kid, which is like wasn't that made 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
But
Well,
they shot
the
it.
original Karate Kid?
no,
or-
the
No.
new one. The new Karate Kid was one of their flagship, and then Total Recall
You know what?
2012.
Keep the Karate Kid. Take $500 off the price of it. You know what I mean? Like, because it's like a $20,000. I mean, it's like a classic ultimate early adopter product. $20,000. You basically get a PC with it with some movies on it, because there is no other.
That's what
And
you
you
got.
get a tablet. You get an Xperia tablet to control it with.
You get the Xperia tablet, you
You
get
get
the
the
media
Xperia
streamer,
tablet.
which
Yep.
the movies aren't actually there. They have to download, so you
Right.
can plug it in. It's like a streamer.
No, they don't they can't download. They have to give you like a thing.
Oh, so they mail that to
It
you?
can't download over broadband. It's too big. I mean, it would just take forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the files are so huge. So they I forget how. I think they send you discs. They
And you
send
put it in their
discs and
player.
They put it in the
Right.
player.
Because they're going to sell that player separately this summer also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
No pricing on that yet.
Oh, of course, no pricing on that yet.
I think that's a prototype design
Expensive.
too. I
Well,
don't think that's their final design.
there's an actual, like, if you want first run movies in your house and you're like Steven Spielberg and you can drop like 10 grand a month, there's a service that'll provide you with all the first run movies and you can play them in the comfort of your amazing billion-dollar home theater. But it was interesting. I was over at the Broadcom booth talking to a couple of the people over there, and for them, they're like laying the groundwork. They're like, 2014, we're going to ship chips. HEVC, basically they're waiting for the HEVC spec to be finished, which is going to fundamentally double the amount of video you can squish into existing bandwidth. Because 4K by 2K is a ridiculous number of pixels.
And bitrate already on 1080p is
Right.
compressed to hell and reduced to hell just to stream.
Yeah. And so, so it's an interesting idea of like, wow, so 1080p at Blu-ray is like, 15 to 30 megabits per second.
Yeah.
Near 1080p streaming over the web is like, 5 megabits per second. And the idea of having quadrupled the number of pixels, but trying to fit it all into, 5 megabits per second with the existing compression technologies makes engineers make really difficult faces.
100 megabit per second.
Yeah, and you know it's tough enough to find it's tough enough to find people getting 5 megabits per second down so they can have Netflix at 720p, much less 25 megabits down so you can have sort of a what I mean. Nobody wants a 4K movie that looks like a giant turn of the century impressionist painting.
Sure.
Well, it's not going to be streaming. Like streaming is going to be just like for HD. It's going to be on physical media first. And
Yeah.
this will help physical media.
But
It'll
what will the
fit on
physical
Blu-ray.
media be?
It'll be Blu-rays.
That means
Yeah, that's what they were
It
saying.
will be dual layer Blu-rays. It'll be TV shows. Maybe start remastering stuff.
sorry, I'm just like it took like 4 years for Blu-ray to like finish.
Yeah.
Like how long is it going to take them to do the 4K?
The 4K
codec?
spec for Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Well, if Sony has, they'll push it.
Point taken.
And also the scalers, internal scalers are getting better. You're working with more visual information. A lot of the demos in their booth was 2K movies upscaled to 4K, but because you have more information, it's better than 480p upscaled to 1080p.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the big thing is like basically 4K. It's crisper.
It's crisper.
There's more opportunity for detail because there's so many
OLED,
pixels.
it's brighter, vibrant.
It's almost painful to look at. It's so
Yeah.
bright.
Well, that's also because
that too.
they tune everything up so high.
Yeah.
Like the most painful booth is still the Audi booth.
Wait, you're talking about
I like
is it still the glow room?
It's like
Yes.
it's like ultra
It's the
reality.
Matrix.
Yes.
It's the Matrix when you're getting guns.
Yeah.
You're just
Or
like,
cars.
yeah.
And it's like, whoa.
I feel like a small animal, like I don't know, in a light box.
That the hand's gonna reach down.
It's basically
and
like you're living inside a light box.
Yes.
Yeah,
You're just
you've
like
clipped out of the video game level into
Right.
the gray area. You're like, oh.
totally. It's cool though. It's a cool booth. Yeah.
They have shiny cars inside
They
of
sure
it.
do.
Any other serious cool things you guys have seen at CES? We'll get to the best stuff later. So, do you guys see the Nvidia game console?
Yeah,
The
we
handheld?
were there
At a
for the
distance.
announcement.
See
Yeah.
their announcement. You guys, do you get hands on with it?
No.
We're not.
I was a
cool
couple
enough.
feet away from it at their booth, but I didn't get any
Behind
hands-on
glass?
time. Yeah, behind the glass.
Did you get to touch it?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did? So what did you
Yeah.
think? I'm very curious.
Yeah, so we were actually here. We were watching the press conference live, and that was a very weird press conference.
Yes, it
was
was
So,
long and drawn out and painful.
so long. We were waiting for it to finish to do our show.
Right.
And at one point, I mean, we're like, we got to cut this off. But at that point, they announced that handheld already.
Right.
So it's Android. It's just it's a real product. It's shipping in Q2.
Yep. Jelly bean.
Jelly Bean, native Jelly Bean. They want people to hack into stuff.
I'm going to be cruel here for a moment. Nvidia says it's shipping in Q2.
They-
It would be
sure.
nice if it ships in Q2. It would be nice if Tegra 4 for general tablet availability was in July also, but
You can. There's a way to parse, PR talk, right? If it's shipping in Q2, then it's probably the very last day of Q2. That's if they have reputations and investors that they want to
Right.
appease. If they say it has 4 hours of battery life, then you take 20% off, and it's really 3.5 hours of battery life, right? And if price is not announced, then you know it's going to be $1,000.
What do you think? I'm thinking like $250.
Oh, you're being very generous. I don't think I think I said if it was 300, I'd be kind of interested. I think it's gonna be $500.
Really?
Think about the hardware. So when a phone unsubsidized is around $500 to $600. If it's Apple, then it's $800. This has basically that similar hardware.
You think they're going to price it that much higher over other portable
Well,
handhelds?
they're making what money are they making from it except from the hardware? They're not making any money off games, right?
No, they're not.
Like
Yeah,
Tegra's own
no.
games, just Android games.
Yeah.
What they want to sell are Tegra 4 chips to other people, and they want to sell GeForce cards. And again, I kind of want to sell those grid, the cloud computing racks,
Yeah.
but
Right.
no one has announced that they're buying those yet, and they're not actually doing any of the services themselves. They're not building farms. So this is a weird Android. It's like the Xperia Play, right? But actually thought out, so it actually has real controls. So it's an Android phone crammed into an Xbox controller.
Or an
with a
Android tablet
Or an Android
crammed.
tablet crammed into an Xbox controller because it's all Wi-Fi.
Right.
And has that 5-inch screen.
I thought didn't the Tegra chip
It does have
the 4G?
LTE,
Yeah.
but they're not using that. This
They're
is a
not
Wi-Fi
using it.
only device. Because they don't want to have to go through the FCC or any of that. And they don't want to
That's
have
a
to deal with
bummer.
carriers.
That's a
So it's
bummer.
not going to make phone calls. You can do 3 things with this. You can run Android, native Android, and do your email and your web
no.
browser.
Let's call it pure Android.
Pure Android,
Pure
the
Android.
jelliest of jelly
The
beans.
jelliest of jelly beans.
And you can do everything you want on a 5-inch screen, kind of like you could with, the Nook.
Right.
Or not Nook, the Galaxy Note or something, right? But it's a 720p screen, so it's not like those new 1080p phones. Second thing you can do is play games, Android games. So you have anything you get in the Android store plus the Tegra Zone store, And those are looking okay now. They're
Yeah.
demoing boxing games and stuff like that. And the fact that you can use this Xbox-style controller
It's nice.
is nice. And
I think
you
it'll
have
also
right there.
give Android developers a reason to
Yeah.
kind of develop some really nice, high-quality games that take advantage of the chips inside.
A lot of people don't know that with the Tegra chip and with Android, you could actually plug an Xbox in USB, Xbox controller via USB, like on the Nexus 7, and play Android games with an Xbox
Yeah.
controller. That's not really convenient because you don't want to put the Nexus 7 on your lap and then hold a controller and play Max Payne. But if it's built in one thing, sure. And a lot of the racing games, those little shooters, they work okay with a controller.
mean,
you can still use the touchscreen.
How many stories have we read in the last 6 months that somebody has developed a game, it has fundamentally been pirated, and then they release the game for free and try to alter their business model to stay in business to create more games on Android? Like the amount of money being made on Android for developers and gamers maybe in particular, I just think it's if they can get enough of these into the marketplace to create a viable user base for, because everybody it's going to be like, I'm going to develop an Android game, and oh cool, I can use the controller with it if I do the extra control development with the Shield, and if there's not enough Shields in the market, they won't make the...
Well, they care less about the Shield for playing Android. The fact that it can is good. They want to put Tegra 4s in Motorola phones, in Sony phones.
Sure.
People who have contracts with Texas Instruments and Qualcomm now, because Nvidia says they have an expertise at least on the graphics side. They're all licensing ARM now. They're all A15s now. They're all quad core or even 8 cores, whatever. Pricing in mass pricing.
So how does hold on? How does Shield help
Nvidia
sell more Tegras to other vendors?
By demonstrating that a proof of concept that you can play good Android games on Shield. If that's a good experience, then by Tegra Zone basically.
Right.
Because anyone else can play an Android game market, but they can't play a Tegra Zone game. Only the Nvidia powered the Tegra 3, Tegra 4 chips can play that.
72 glorious cores.
Exactly. But I don't think Nvidia really cares about that either, because the third thing you can do with the Shield is play the PC games, stream PC games. Let's talk about
that. Was the win for me. That's the big
really
thing that caught my eye.
thing.
Yep.
And I'll explain the way it works and why this is what NVIDIA's big push is going to be. And maybe that's why they might subsidize the cost a little bit. This is the only way I can imagine that Shield will be a little affordable.
Okay.
And not a full price of an Android tablet or any other type of device like that. You have to use a GeForce graphics card on your computer. So your ecosystem is you have Shield, and not only do you have to have a GeForce graphics card on your PC, it needs to be a Kepler-based 600 series high-end graphics card.
Dun, dun, dun.
So we're talking about like a $300 or more graphics card on your desktop. What happens, and the reason they explain this, and it's really interesting because other companies may do something similar later, and there's no reason they can't, is that when you're rendering a game in Steam, like on your PC, whether it's Civilization or Call of Duty or something, and it gets processed through your NVIDIA graphics card, when it's in that memory buffer, there's an extra hardware chip in Kepler that does hardware video encoding, H.264, as opposed to it running on in your CPU, and that reduces the latency because it's all done with that same memory while the video is being rendered through your computer. The graphics card is doing two things. It's rendering your video game, compressing that video, and then you can send that video over Wi-Fi 802.11n to Shield and local Wi-Fi through your router, get past that overhead in your router also, and they'll say the latency will be, shorter than between Xbox controller to your TV, what they say. So interpreting PR speak, maybe about the same, maybe a little slower, depending on optimal Wi-Fi conditions in your house. So
I want to see it in action for sure. Like
playing
really
it,
in action.
So playing it, played a racing game, and you guys have played OnLive, right? When OnLive was kind of a thing, it's similar to OnLive, except it's instead of playing from OnLive servers, it's in your house. So you're doing the heavy lifting. And OnLive kind of worked. You could kind of play games, but there was heavy compression, artifacting, and also the latency. You could notice it. Here you get same old artifacting because it's only rendering at 720, and the bit rate is kept low, so you can actually push the video out. And there's still latency. They put a racing game in, and the cars felt a little floaty. It could have been the racing game. They didn't show
You
the
know,
shooters.
I love me some Nvidia GPU. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking it's going to have to be really compelling to work in the market.
It's got to be really cheap.
Well, that's
Yeah.
why I say. That's
Yeah.
why I'm saying.
But then if
I
you
can't
like
see
people
it as
and
being-
they have a huge marketing challenge because
Yeah.
even if they get people, Android gamers or any handheld gamer, because they want to compete with Xboxes and,
Right.
and 3DSs and PS Vitas, and you have the option pay your $300 to get a PS Vita, or pay your $300 to get theoretically $300 to get your Shield.
So it's huge.
And you take it home, and you can't do the PC thing because you don't have NVIDIA graphics card.
Yeah,
So-
and I think a lot of people, unless, like you said, they have to make that pretty clear.
Yeah.
Because if they don't, they're going to have a lot of really
yeah.
pissed off people
Yeah. Can
they-
expecting to out of the box be able to do that.
Can they build it for $100 or $200? Because I see 300 or above. All I think is this graveyard of handheld game consoles from the last 3 or 4 years. And man, Xbox 720 is coming. Like somebody's looking at a choice between purchasing like an Xbox 720 and a Shield. I don't see that fight ending well for the Shield.
And I just personally, like, I have pretty strong feelings that the entire portable gaming market is going down anyway. That
Right.
it's, now that we have phones that are powerful enough. I mean, there's always
You
going
mean
to be the
dedicated-
controller,
dedicated
portable gaming
gaming,
devices. I mean, I'm okay with them too, but I never use them because, the controller.
I don't know why you do
controller,
that.
I don't either. It's freaking me out.
Sony, we have a touchscreen
With the
on the
touchscreen
back.
on the back, yeah. I mean, so
We have a touchscreen on the back. Come on, is that the dumbest thing you've seen in a handheld
But I mean,
device
like
in the last 5 years?
the one downside to having like gaming on a phone is that you do lose the tactile controls.
Yeah.
So there's things like Moga that are trying to fix that kind of issue with like Windows Phone and Android
Mm-hmm.
phones. Actually, I think just the Android phones. But I think that's the big stopgap right now is this, and maybe they're trying to fix that. But I like having one device, even if the battery is an issue sometimes, even if I do have issues with the touch screen controls. It's more convenient than lugging around 2 devices.
I think this is going to be for people who already are heavy PC gamers, who play most of their games on PC and have, are making the decision between an NVIDIA card and an AMD card, which may not exist in the near future, and so you get the value add of playing that on your couch as opposed to in your office, in your bedroom.
Maybe.
But it is cool. I mean, the idea that you can have your computer, your desktop do all the heavy lifting, and if the latency is low enough and the quality is good enough, then to actually sit on the couch and someone's watching TV and you're playing your PC
But maybe
game.
if I wanted that bad, I just lug my gaming PC upstairs and connect it, to my television. And do it that
exactly.
way.
Yeah, you
You
could
know,
also do that.
If I really care that much and don't want to have to
That's
spend
the right
that
way
much,
to do it.
That's the right way to do it.
Yeah.
Or just play Bejeweled.
Or that.
Yeah. So NVIDIA
that.
Shield. You guys see the Oculus Rift?
I didn't get to use it. Darren Kitchen from Hack 5 got to use it. So I'm jealous. I really want to try it. Anthony Carboni's used it too. I feel like I'm the only one left who hasn't gotten
We're getting
to
a
try
dev
it.
kit. You guys should stop by.
I will do that.
And-
I will
and,
do that.
and
Yes.
we'll do a segment with you guys.
All right.
3D printers, did you see any? Did you see all of them?
Did you look at my list? Because 3D printing,
You've actually,
right there.
that's really funny.
I just called that up.
I can usually read 4-point type at 6 feet, but I can't even come close to reading that. After 5 days in Vegas and like 3 days of looking at televisions, my eyeballs
Yeah.
are bleeding. So there was the one in the South Hall upstairs.
That's
that,
MakerBot?
Thank you. It was not MakerBot. The one
MakerBot.
the one that had wonderful things it created and some video and no signs of a functioning printer.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Oh.
If I didn't see the printer, I skipped that. It wasn't the presence that we had come to expect from something like Maker Faire. Because we went to Maker Faire New York and we were at Maker Faire Bay Area and there are pavilions. I mean, it's the right community, but
Right.
huge. Like, we counted at least a dozen different 3D printers, many of them based on the
Wow.
same.
Here.
No, at Maker Faire.
Thank you.
Here, I saw 2. And then maybe there were more.
I mean, I was shocked when MakerBot showed up last year at CES.
Oh, it was a
exciting and
wonderful
fun,
surprise.
and Pri was there. And
I mean, they had the Replicator 1 there, and they had some really great demonstrating things. And we thought there would be a bigger presence. Because if you have these like sections at CES for like the gaming fitness and the
stuff,
robots, and they're all
Massage
not,
robots.
like, there's no future in any of that stuff. Well, maybe fitness. Like, you'd think they'd have one for MakerBot. So
is it because there's no retail market, traditional retail market for these? For these devices at this
the guys,
point?
they actually have to create their own retail spaces.
Right.
That's what MakerBot's doing. So we saw MakerBot, and they had two announcements. They had their new Replicator 2X, which is a dual extruder ABS plastic. It's it's their high-end one for the hackers. And it's still based on that metal frame MakerBot 2, or Replicator 2. And then they had some software stuff, because software is a real tough part of 3D printing. Like Chris Anderson, no matter what he says, 3D printing is not going to be in the home until printing something is as easy as Control-P, Enter. Right. And it's not right now. So much tweaking, which is fun for people like us, but for kids who want to design something in Spore or something on their iPads and have it real, and that's a great future to imagine. It's not, and we're not anywhere near that.
Maybe next year.
We're inching closer. The other 3D printer I saw today, though, was from Cubify, and this is interesting. I think it's called Cubify. Yeah, it's 3D Systems. Have you guys seen the Form 1 or heard of the Form 1 3D printer? I got a lot of press in last year at Maker Faire, because they do like the laser base.
Is it similar to the one that they did the?
They did a Kickstarter for.
That's the one.
And it made a ton of money, and it looks really cool. It's these kids at MIT. These guys at MIT, and they designed a Kickstarter a 3D printer.
Yes,
and it's enclosed and acrylic, and it has. And
we were talking about this at Oktoberfest.
Yes, exactly. And they use a laser-based system to cure the material, and it's incredibly fine. Really, really amazing.
The resolution
stuff.
is like, is that the right?
It's resolution. It's
the resolution on that is fantastic.
Yes, because it's not extruding plastic. It's not melting plastic and pushing it out through a tube. So they're being sued by 3D Systems, and there's heavy litigation right now because that technology, 3D Systems, they make like the Z 3D printers, the ones that are $150,000, the industrial ones, the ones that the government had to buy. Anyone who was an inventor, they had to pay at least $100,000, $50,000 to $100,000 to get these in giant room-size 3D printers, because there was no business for that. And to do R&D, you got to spend that money. And they're kind of threatened by the idea of rapid prototyping, because you don't need that fidelity when you're doing something that's just like a lens mount for a Kickstarter project. You can use a MakerBot. So they're suing the Form 1 guys. At the same time, they're also releasing their own 3D printers for the home, because they got to be in that space, through a company called Cubify. So last year they announced this thing called the Cube, and this has gone through the media circuit. It's been on Today's Show, and it looks really cute. It goes in your kitchen, and it's colorful, and you can download fun designs and print things.
You can 3D render mom's recipes.
Yeah. And it's cartridge based. You can work with spools of plastic. You just put like a printer cartridge, because that's the language people understand. But it's not a product we're interested in, because their ecosystem is so closed. You have to like buy the designs.
So you can't go to like Thingiverse.
No, you can't.
Download designs.
Not at all.
Wow, that's a bummer.
You have to buy stuff, or you have to buy their software to design stuff to sell, to be in their ecosystem. So not that exciting. This year they announced the Cube X, which it looks kind of like a MakerBot.
And they haven't shipped Cubify yet, though.
They have. You can buy the Cube.
What was the pricing on that?
I don't know exactly. It was in like $1,200 or something like that. Around $1,000. Price as to be determined. In my head. This year, the Cube X. Looks more. It's for the serious 3D printer enthusiasts. MakerBot has 2 print heads. Cube X Trio, 3 print heads.
That's one more, isn't it?
3 print heads. Can print both ABS and PLA plastics. For the 3D printing guys, they'll know what that means. And
still in the Magic cartridges, or
still in the Magic cartridges, though. Still has their store, but it comes now with the software, because it's for the enthusiasts, and you'll be able to design stuff and upload to the store or print it yourself. The big thing they're selling with this is multiple colors. So you can print things, and their example is as big as a basketball. So they have a lot of 3D printed basketballs. Guess how long it takes to print a 3D printed basketball?
14 hours.
18 hours.
Wow, that's a long time.
2-color basketball with the seams? 24 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Do you have to alternate cartridges, or does it?
You don't, and that's actually the cool thing, is that you can mix and match materials and colors, and the way you design the form in the software, you can just paint and say, I want this part to be a certain color, and the software will figure it out.
So I could do the classic 70s style red, white, and blue basketball.
Yeah. But my question to them, and the guy really couldn't answer it, was, a lot of people when they 3D print stuff, they finish it. You add layers, you paint it. What you 3D print is the basis for what you can finish, right? Because when you print something and it looks like this, it looks cool, but you can see the lines.
Right.
I would want to put some nice Mondo on it and paint it, and then have like those gear hearts that we had, right? Why do I need multiple colored 3D printed objects if I'm going to paint it later? Like, why do I need that? Doesn't make sense.
The
to me.
resolution is so fine on the CubeX. You're not going to have to waste
The resolution is this. This is actually made by the CubeX.
Really?
You guys can check that out. And I think it's a little comparable. It's comparable to the MakerBot. I don't remember exactly what how many microns it was.
So basically, what we really want is the one that's getting litigated half to death.
That's the one we want. We want the one that's getting litigated, the Form 1. That's a really exciting one. This is just, it's a competitor to the MakerBot.
Right.
Yeah.
A different way of doing things.
So buy a MakerBot and support open standards and hope, or sign on with a Death Star, you scum, and get your convenient cubes of plastic.
Don't say that too quickly, because MakerBot has some criticism too. They're not completely open now, because they have investment from
doors for him.
Autodesk. And so, they kind of have proprietary software now, even though they're originally based on this open standard. I mean, that still looks cool.
Yeah, looks cool.
Yeah.
Looks totally cool.
Yeah, so that's what's going on in the 3D printing front at CES.
You have to come on Tekzilla to talk about that.
We'll get Will. He's better at talking about 3D printers.
Okay, what?
I absorb it in one ear, and that's like we talked about before. Things that I purge. 3D printing, I realized something I should remember. Yeah, the CubeX, $2,500 for one print head. If you want all three, $4,000.
Oh my goodness gracious, that's a lot of money.
Not quite affordable right now,
But close.
It's a nice dream. I like, what, and this maybe is the theme for CES is I like that people are trying things.
Okay.
CES is proof that you don't need to make a product and you can believe that will sell, and people will say that's stupid and that's silly and it's maybe fun on video, but at least they're doing it and they're creating tangible things. And some of those lessons learned, whether it's from their R&D department, whether it's for us, it's nice to actually see it and feel it, and we'll learn things that will make products better in the future.
Totally.
Yeah.
We're spoiled.
We're a little spoiled.
We're a little spoiled.
Yeah. So let's finish up a little bit with the best things you guys saw. You got a whole hour to think about it. So
we got to go to our meetup soon.
Yeah.
Let's see. The best thing I saw, I already said Mondo Spider, didn't I?
The best real product. Let me reframe the question. If you could have one thing from CES without having to pay for it, whether it's a prototype, it needs to be a product though, product prototype or a real product that's coming out later. One thing right now, what would it be? And think about ecosystems and content delivery and all that stuff.
Oh boy. Okay, if Robert Hare were here, I would look at Robert Hare and ask him which projector I wanted to replace my existing Optima projector. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but darker darks and a brighter lamp would be great. I finally found. You ever hear of FIO?
No.
So they're we get questions about it regularly. They're a manufacturer of headphone amplifiers, and they. Basically, the only place you can find them is on Amazon.com. So we always get these email questions like, is it worth buying? Is it any good? So actually, they had a little tiny booth here way on the edge of the South Hall, and they're doing a portable music player they call the X3. So it's 192K, 24-bit, FLAC, WAVE, WMA, ALAC support, like 64 gigs on board, or 64 gigabyte cards, like a Wolfson 200 milliamp output. And they had a couple of really nice sounding headphone amplifiers. Like the idea of actually having like an inexpensive audiophile grade music player is really cool. Sennheiser, those i800s were fantastic. I want to say the T90s from Biodynamics. Biodynamics has some gorgeous sounding headphones.
So you listen to some headphones today?
Listen to a lot of headphones today. Sorry. I had a lot of fun playing with my one ding on the Idea Center, the 27-inch desktop was a 1080p resolution. They're releasing a 27-inch version with the higher resolution.
Not the Horizon. That's
not the Horizon. The Horizon's fun, like the tabletop Horizon.
I don't want that.
I want the.
I want the short time. We'll save that for a future discussion.
I want like the 2560 by 1600 desktop computer with a Core i7 PC built in and a touch
Wes,
screen.
I forget which company exactly, but they're doing a 4K monitor, computer monitor.
Right. How much?
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
$10,000.
That's a little out of my range.
Money.
Yeah.
$1,700 for a Core i7 PC with a 27-inch high-resolution monitor. Yeah. I might be able to swing that if I sell a cat. But
okay. Again, price no object. One thing you can have now. let's just say those $25,000 headphones.
I do not want the Orpheus headphones. Do you know what would happen to that? You know, my son would be like, he'd burn himself in a tube, and the cats would sleep on it, and I'd feel guilty. Maybe one of the 4K, 4K TVs, or one of those OLEDs from LG would be really nice. That, like the 85-inch,
Samsung.
Samsung.
You know how I know it's Samsung? Because there's 85 and Sony's 84.
That's true. That's true. I liked some of the, they had some nice studio monitors at the Gibson tent from KRK that were pretty nice. I'm looking for a new set of speakers for the office, and I could go for a pair of those.
Oh, do you need like desktop speakers?
Yeah.
I have a pair for you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, actually, Hi-Vi, they are the company that owns Swans. And the M200 Mark III, I'm gonna cheat here, $346, and they, I want to say a 4 or 5 inch woofer, no subwoofer, self-power, designed, shielded for PC use. They're a little big, but they had an absolutely fantastic sound. And I threw in some TV on the radio. Like Staring at the Sun's one of my favorite things to abuse small speakers with, because like the bass kicks in that wah 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 wah, and usually like smaller speaker units puke all over themselves. And these actually held their own. They had wonderful, some really nice, clear, detailed highs too.
So those would be nice, yeah.
Yeah, a range of things. So Tekzilla is your best of CES, inconclusive.
Stuff!
Audio-related, inconclusive.
Yeah. And 4K televisions.
And televisions.
Okay. And maybe that Idea Center.
I would say the Oculus Rift is my best at CES. And you guys have to come by to try it out.
Okay.
Once that is available.
Awesome.
Oh, gaze computing. The eye tracking computing.
Well, that's been around for a while too.
I know, but I got to use it. I got to zap asteroids with my eyes. I'm like, I want to say it's Tebow. I should know this. Toby. Thank you. Tobii.
Yeah.
And that was actually, I got to say that was the single most impressive thing I did here.
Okay.
Where I was literally like, you calibrate it, and I'm like, bang. I'm looking at things, and I'm opening windows, and I'm scrolling, and then all of a sudden, because they're really smart, because they're like, we're calibrating your eyes. You're looking at a Windows 8 window.
Well, that's how they figure out like what parts of web pages you're looking at.
Yeah. You're just racking your brain about marketing possibilities.
Right.
And evil that can be done with this.
I wasn't even, no, I was just like, because they ratcheted up, because then you're like scrolling pages and around a map, and then bam, video game, zap, 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 zap. And you're like, oh, why don't I have this in the comment sections where the people write the nasty things? Zap with your eyeballs. So.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I know you guys have to go. Thank you guys so much. I want to thank everyone, especially our team, Joey Fameli, Matthew Blogger, Wesley Fenlon, for helping out. We're going to wrap up CES, and also our guests. We did, Will and Gary couldn't be here this year, so we've been having guests from all different sites. So I'm going to recall everyone. On Monday we had Florence Ion and Casey Johnson from Ars Technica. We had Robbie Baldwin and Christina Boddington from Wired on Tuesday. We had Nathan Edwards from Wirecutter. And I'm going to thank Brian Lamb anyway, because he made the effort. At least I really hope he did.
He's on a surfboard.
Yesterday. And of course, Patrick Norton and Veronica Belmont from Tekzilla. Where can people find you guys?
Revisiontheory.com/Tekzilla or TEKZILLA, or on YouTube at youtube.com/TechHD.
Well, I was saying personally Twitter. On Twitter.
Oh.
Veronica. At Veronica.
At Patrick Norton.
Awesome. And you can find me at NChan. This show will be online for a while. You can watch it on YouTube. You'll find more of our coverage. We'll have stuff all next week too on tested.com. We got a sign. Gotta let you know we got a sign. It's on a monopod. We're going to wrap the show up. Good night, guys. 2013. CS is over. We'll see you on the internet. And if you only care about CS, we'll see you next year.
Bye.
Now the new year can finally begin.